Yeah, we are back here on WLTH 1370 AM. This 92.7 in the FM dial, the region's choice and the people's voice. This is Straight Out of the Cannon with me, Scott Cannon. It is June the 6th, 2025. The future is here, the future is now, and the future is looking scarier than ever. Yes, it is. I'm laughing, but it's a nervous laughter. It's an anxious laughter because all the things that we were afraid of when we read 1984 and Brave New World and watched The Terminator and all these movies seem to be coming to fruition. That's right. Skynet is very real, folks. Skynet is real, and it's called Palantir. All the things that we feared that technology would bring is being visited on us by our own government. And so while Donald Trump and Elon Musk fighting got all the press in the media this week, probably the thing that will affect our lives the most, is Donald Trump's confirmed relationship with Palantir. It has been announced that Palantir is going to be working with the Trump administration to compile a mass database of information on all American citizens, every single one of us. Now, this is from the New York Times. The New York Times has said that Trump taps Palantir to compile data on Americans. The Trump administration has already expanded Palantir's work with the government, spreading the company's technology, which could easily merge data on Americans throughout agencies. So this is after he signed an executive order calling for our government to share data across all of the agencies, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, ICE, all these different Social Security Administration, all these people. Now, at the time, people were questioning whether he might compile a master list of personal information on all of us. And the answer is yes. Yeah, that's what he plans on doing. Yep.
Damn.
Yes. Yes. This is not going to be good whatsoever for any of us. This could give him complete power of surveillance. And not just, it's not just Trump, just our government in general. Because Trump won't be president forever. He's an old man. I said before he got in office, him and Biden, I don't expect either one of them to live the full 4 years. I don't think Donald Trump will live to 2028. That's just my personal opinion. There's a reason presidents look the way they do when they leave office. Look at Bill Clinton and Obama. They were young. George W. Bush was relatively young when he got elected too. He was I think Bush, Obama, and Clinton were all in their 40s when they got elected. They looked terrible by the end of their presidencies. The presidency completely ages you. And Donald Trump is already an old man. He is older than the average lifespan for a man in America now. And so, no, I don't think he's going to live to see the end of this term. But whoever comes next will have massive surveillance powers, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. So I know you're asking, what is Palantir? Who is Palantir? Palantir is a AI software tech company. They are a government. They're a contractor, and they work with all the different national security agencies around the world, and in the governments and stuff. They worked with the IDF in Israel. Palantir helps the IDF design, programs to kill more Palestinians and surveil Palestinians. So, thanks to all of these advancements in artificial intelligence, just over the last 2 years or so, every major military in the world now has been doing this type of targeted kind of surveillance and all these like tasks like drones and all these other things. It used to take a lot of people to do all these things. Now artificial intelligence can do a lot of the surveillance stuff and a lot of the grunt work that a lot of men used to do. One of the downsides of this is a direct attack on our civil liberties. Because as one of the things that really helped us in America was that there was a certain amount of inefficiency to the government. That look, we know about COINTELPRO, we know what they did to Martin Luther King, to Malcolm X, to the Black Panthers, to even people like John Lennon. Our government even went to war with John Lennon and Muhammad Ali. Still, our government still was a little bit incompetent in a lot of instances and inefficient. And it paid to be inefficient. A lot of people had their hands out, a lot of contractors, a lot of different entities, you know, and that makes the more people, the more hands things have to pass through, the more inefficiency you have. Well, the amount of hands that are out are about to drastically be reduced. Because Palantir, this artificial intelligence software technology, is going to render a lot of these departments and a lot of these institutions irrelevant. And while that might seem like it's going to save money, what it's also going to do is going to cut down on our civil liberties. One thing our media has not been reporting on, because our media is just propaganda for the corporate state, is that there are a lot of Palantir employees in the Trump administration. A lot of people who work for DOJ, foreign policy advisors, all the tech people. The founder of Palantir, Peter Thiel, also funded Donald Trump's and J.D. Vance. That's another thing. People forget J.D. Vance was the pick of Peter Thiel, of Elon Musk, of all the tech bros. J.D. Vance is their puppet. And so if Donald Trump dies, which I think he will, and that would make J.D. Vance our president in a few years, or hell, like I said, any day now, they will have their own puppet in the White House. The one good thing about having Donald Trump in the White House instead of somebody like J.D. Vance, who's a lot more competent, probably a little bit more competent, is that Donald Trump's narcissism and his arrogance and his, eccentricities make him hard to control. That's why you see, again, he'll break up with Elon Musk, he'll break up with Steve Bannon, he'll break up with anybody except for Israel. But all the other Republicans after him, all the other Democrats after him, all our other politicians near the top of the political chain are all good little boys and girls. They don't have that independent streak that Trump does. They don't have that, hey, who are you to tell me what to do streak. No, they don't have that at all. J.D. Vance will do exactly what they tell him to do. He will do exactly what they tell him to do. And if that means mass surveillance of all American citizens, then that's just what he will do. He's a good little boy. So this is the direction we were going in already, and now we're just going there quicker. So the thing that's scary about this is that, look, we already know the government compiles data on all of us. They collect a lot of data on us. But now it's going to be centralized. And there won't be that inefficiency of all these different contractors and all these different agencies and all these different institutions to keep them separate. And so if you make somebody in this government angry, They will have every speck of data about you from the day you were born right at their fingertips immediately. Inmediatamente, as they would say on Nuestra Comunidad. Inmediatamente. Your immigration status. Inmediatamente. Social security number. Criminal record. Probably what ice cream you like. Everything. They will know all of it. And they will be able to use that information to do whatever the heck they want. Think about what our government has already done to people. We just talked about COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO. What they did to Martin Luther King. What they did to Malcolm X. What they did to the Black Panthers. And they didn't have AI back then. Imagine what J. Edgar Hoover could have done if he had artificial intelligence. Imagine what the CIA, who helped pump crack into our communities and helped assassinate leaders all over Africa and Latin America and the Middle East and all these other countries. Imagine what they could have done if they had artificial intelligence. That's where we're going. Your tax filings, your student debt status, your social security numbers, your bank accounts, your medical claims and insurance claims, your immigration status. There's never been a system that has centralized this the way that this has been centralized, ever. And so the okie doke from Donald Trump is that Donald Trump said that he was going to cut all of these agencies. Oh, we're going to cut the FBI and we're going to cut this. He did it to centralize everything into these artificial intelligence databases. So yeah, you're right. The FBI will probably be smaller. The CIA will probably may be smaller. All these institutions, the NSA, all these, they're just going to use Palantir, which isn't even accountable to the government. It's not, because it's not the government. It's a private contractor. So you will have a private company deciding your fate. Now, how do you enforce something like this? Well, you have to have a police state. You do. You have to have a police state. Donald Trump has already talked about sending American citizens to a torture dungeon in El Salvador. American citizens. And so when you're seeing a lot of this, they sheep herded a lot of this based on, well, immigration. That's how they really sheep herded. They said, we got to expand ICE. We got to expand the police budgets and all these other things because of immigration, which again, I don't support illegal immigration. Neither did Cesar Chavez, neither did A. Philip Randolph, Coretta Scott King. There's a long history of leftists, actual leftists, not liberals, fighting against illegal immigration because it hurts workers and it drives down wages and it disrupts working class communities. So I'm all for saying, look, we need to get some of these people out of here. Great. But they took something that, again, this is how the government does stuff a lot of times, and a lot of the powerful entities do things. They take something that they're supposed to do and wrap it in poison. They give you a piece of a chicken and wrap it in barbed wire so to cut your mouth up. And that's what they're doing here. And so this Palantir is our government's obvious attempt to turn us into a police surveillance state. Edward Snowden warned us about this many years ago when he exposed that the NSA was compiling evidence on all of us after James Clapper got on TV and lied and said that they weren't during the Obama era. This was during the Obama era. And Edward Snowden tried to warn a lot of people, and a lot of Democrats didn't want to hear it because you couldn't criticize Obama. Chris Hedges sued Barack Obama for suspending habeas corpus. I think that was 2013 over NDAA. You know, over extrajudicial killings and extrajudicial detentions of American citizens without a trial, without due process. Again, the Democrats went along with it. A lot of black people went along with it because you can't criticize Barack Obama. Palantir also donated to Kamala Harris's campaign. So again, this is what happens when you don't have any real ideology, any real values of your own. You end up with two parties that basically support the same thing. And instead they'll just have you distracted over who's nicer, who follows the norms better, who's better at hiding what they're doing to us. And so it's important to understand when you're giving your data to all these different entities, please be careful. Please be careful. There's a lot of it you're not going to be able to do a whole lot about except for support candidates who are against this. People like Thomas Massie, who, again, I've never voted for a Republican in my life. He's probably the only one I would, though. He's the only one who challenges Trump and the national security state. He's the only one who challenges Israel. We can't get Democrats to do it. Thomas Massie a challenge Trump, security state, Israel, all of it. I wish he was running here, or I wish we had people like him running here, but we don't. But when those people do come, and there's some of them, even if it's a younger person, even if it's a person in a party that you don't normally vote for, I'm telling you, you got to do what you got to do to save your own behind here. Whether they're Republican or Democrat, Independent, Green Party, whatever, we got to start demanding that, look, if you support this type of crap, I am not voting for you. If you're just going to stand there and watch us turn into a surveillance state and not push back on it, I am not going to vote for you. I am not going to support you. But too many of us are caught up in this, as Malcolm X called it, this intramural scrimmage between liberals and conservatives. And it's going to cost us dearly. All right, folks, it's 7:08 in the PM. We're knee deep in the second hour. So how about some happy happies? We'll be right back after these. Straight out of the cannon.